A serene morning jog turned into a chilling crime scene. What started as a typical run became a deadly encounter. Lakin Riley's life was taken, and the investigation that followed uncovered a shocking truth. Step inside the case and discover the disturbing events that led to her untimely death. A 22-year-old nursing student, Lakin Riley, disappeared during her regular morning jog after encountering a suspicious, hooded figure. Law enforcement caught a significant break early on, but as more details surfaced, public outrage grew. The case sparked complex debates as it represented deeper societal issues, including immigration policy. Lakin Riley was a nursing student at Augusta Medical College, having transferred from the University of Georgia in May 2023. She loved children and aspired to become a pediatric nurse. On February 22, 2024, Lakin went for a jog, as she often did, around 9 a.m. She was alone that morning, which was unusual as she typically ran with her friend Connolly. The area she ran through, near campus, was a popular location for joggers and other outdoor activities, featuring soccer fields, tennis courts, and trails. Cameras captured Lakin jogging south on Millage Avenue Extension at 9:05 a.m., holding her phone and wearing AirPods. At 9:11 a.m., Lakin placed a call, but it wasn't to her mother, as usual. 6 minutes later, she abruptly stopped. Her Garmin smartwatch data revealed a sudden standstill, and moments later, the SOS function on her phone activated. The 911 call that followed was brief, with muffled sounds and scuffling noises, followed by a disconnection after about a minute. Attempts to reconnect went unanswered. Connolly and their other roommates, Lily and Sophia, became concerned when they couldn't reach Lakin. Lily used the shared location feature on Lakin's phone to determine that it was in the woods near the intramural fields, unmoving for several hours. The roommates set out to find her, and Champ, Lily's dog, discovered one of Lakin's AirPods in the brush. They immediately called 911. Sergeant Kenneth Maxwell of the University of Georgia Police began a search based on Lakin's phone location. At 12:30 p.m., he discovered Lakin's body under a tree, partially covered in leaves. She had visible blunt force trauma to her head. Despite attempts by emergency services, Lakin was declared dead at the scene. The location of her phone, which was found hours later under a tree, was critical. It contained a thumbprint that didn't match Lakin's, and the medical examiner confirmed that Lakin's death resulted from blunt force trauma and asphyxiation, indicating a brutal attack. Investigators discovered 2 bloodied rocks near her body, likely used in the assault. The smartwatch indicated that Lakin had stopped running, and the brief 911 call occurred during a 4-minute span. Her attacker likely forced her into the woods, where she was ultimately murdered. Investigators collected footage from nearby cameras and combed through dumpsters. They found a discarded jacket with blood and brown hairs, which later tested positive as Lakin's. DNA results confirmed that the hairs had been forcibly removed from Lakin's scalp. The breakthrough came when police found a doorbell camera video showing a man, later identified as Diego Ibarra, approaching the dumpster at 9:44 a.m. He threw the bloodied jacket in the bin, then discarded other items in the bushes. In the bushes, police discovered 3 black disposable gloves with Lakin's blood. The gloves had a tear, revealing blood that matched hers. The day after the murder, officers spotted a man wearing a black Adidas cap, identical to the one worn by the suspect in the dumpster footage. This man was Diego's brother, Jose Ibarra, a 26-year-old Venezuelan national. When questioned, Jose appeared nervous and had scratches on his arms and neck, which he attributed to the cold. He later admitted to wearing a hat like his brother's, which was crucial since the Adidas cap was the same as the one in the surveillance footage. Further investigation revealed that Jose and his roommates were living in the U.S. illegally. They had arrived in Georgia after crossing the U.S.-Mexican border in 2022. In their apartment, officers found black gloves matching the ones discarded by the suspect. Phone records confirmed that Jose had used his cell phone during the time of the murder, and his location was consistent with that of the crime scene. Jose's cell phone data and camera footage placed him at the scene of the crime. He had posted selfies online showing him in the same jacket and Adidas hat worn by the man in the dumpster footage. His DNA was found under Lakin's fingernails, confirming his physical struggle with her. Jose was the person who had attacked and killed Lakin. The police also found that Jose had been in trouble with the law before. Despite 2 opportunities for arrest, once for shoplifting in Georgia and once for a child endangerment charge in New York, he had not been detained, as there was no process to check his immigration status. His criminal history, combined with his illegal immigration status, fueled a public outcry, and the case quickly became a national political issue. Republican Representative Mike Collins introduced the Lakin-Riley Act, a bill that would mandate detention for immigrants charged with theft or burglary. The bill passed the House in March 2024, sparking heated debates about immigration and law enforcement. Some viewed the bill as a necessary step to prevent future crimes, while others criticized it for politicizing the tragedy. The case became a point of contention in the presidential campaign, with former President Trump meeting with Lakin's family and pledging to fight for justice. However, the Riley family expressed frustration with how their daughter's death had been used for political purposes. The trial of Jose Ibarra was set for November 2024. He faced multiple charges, including malice and felony murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and sexual assault. Investigators presented overwhelming evidence, including DNA, cell phone data, and video footage, which left little doubt about Jose's guilt. During the trial, the defense attempted to shift blame to Jose's brother, Diego, but there was no evidence to support that claim. Jose's injuries, DNA found on Lakin's body, and phone records placed him at the scene. The crime was described as a crime of opportunity, with no prior relationship between Jose and Lakin. Surveillance footage showed a suspicious figure lurking near a graduate student's apartment before the murder. This figure, later identified as Jose, was seen with a white cup, which was later found near the crime scene. DNA testing confirmed that the cup had contained alcohol and belonged to Jose. As the trial proceeded, the court presented a damning case. Lakin's 3 roommates testified about their frantic search for her, and the 911 call she made just before her death was played in court. The prosecution argued that Jose Ibarra's actions were premeditated and that he had murdered Lakin in a brutal attack. Despite his lack of emotional reaction, the evidence against him was undeniable. Jose's defense team failed to provide a plausible alternative theory for the events, and the DNA evidence strongly supported the prosecution's case. The trial was a tragic reminder of the risks young women face when they are out alone, and Lakin-Riley's family and friends struggled to come to terms with their loss.